My today's interview partner is not only the president of the KNX National Group USA, he's the man actually who brought KNX to the States. And many will still remember him as the man who made American flag neckties fashionable. A big welcome to David in Chicago from the United States of America. Hi David, how are you doing?
Very well.
Great. Thank you very much for taking the time for this interview. I think we have a lot to discuss. However, we try to, of course, keep it like as efficient and as short as possible. So without further ado, let's just maybe start with the first question. I remember the first time actually when KNX Association started with its activities. Must have been like a post that you launched on LinkedIn. In 2014/2015, I'm not really 100% sure about the date, where you asked actually the whole market or any KNX player to join forces and to get started with the local KNX National Group. Do you remember that post?
Yes, indeed.
My question here that I would have, back then, KNX was actually not really present in the US due to various reasons. What were you actually, as the only, we could call you as the only KNX representative in a way, or like somebody who was distributing devices, what were you fighting against at that time?
Well, I recognize the challenge of bringing a new, what was a new technology to the US, but it had already been in the US since 1998. And there were hundreds of projects and in fact thousands of projects already done, but the technology wasn't the factor in the project. It was a good quality lighting control system, and it is today. There's no problem with KNX technically or reputation wise. The competition slams it, but that's typical for competition. You always badmouth what's not yours. But we overcome that in the market today, and we would like to have more players. There are some barriers to trade, which we've overcome for some areas, and we have additional players with ABB and Young, along with Siemens. So we've expanded the market. We're growing. It's growing slow, but it's slow because it takes time to enter the market and to get the interest and the investment and to cause that market to grow.
What was then actually the turning point? What would you say? Because like this is, I think, very also important to know for somebody who would like to enter now the United States. Like you've paved the way, you've paved the road. But how did you actually pave the road? Or let's say, what was the turning point and what has changed from now and to the past?
Well, I joined Siemens, and Siemens already was a presence in the market, although they were in the market with a different division. They originally came into the market as part of the switchgear and wiring devices group from Siemens, and when they transferred it over to building technology to do what we are today, the smart infrastructure, total building automation, total room automation. Making lighting controls and shade control an integral part of the building automation system. That was the goal back in 2012, 13, and 14, and that was about the time they hired me to take over what was an existing product, an existing market. I already had UL listed devices. I already had several thousand projects that were installed that needed to be serviced and maintained as they came of age. So it wasn't really a turning point. It was really taking over what was existing, and with the KNX Association and what KNX brought to it, I recognized that I had a product that was far advanced to anything else on the marketplace, and still is. And it's advanced because I have all the options of KEX. I have a good product line, but I can't do everything, and it's impossible for any single manufacturer to do everything. But KNX allows me to tap those resources. I think other people want to come in the market. They have to develop relationships with the dealers, distributors, and integrators, and that's really what ABB and Young have done to get a foothold in the market. There is some cooperative support in that some of the products that are coming in, they need a UL listed devices, and we make them all available to everybody. It's an open market from from the Siemens perspective, providing the UL listed side, the line voltage.
Maybe like for like the viewers that don't know about the certification, what is the UL certification? Because that was like a big thing actually that we were fighting against, like I think, or that KNX was like in a way struggling with, but luckily we overcame that problem. But can you like explain what that actually means, or like what the UL certification is?
The UL certification, it's similar to CE in Europe, but in the United States we have electrical codes that require listing with an independent testing organization or independent testing lab, and UL certifies that your product is safe, and it really has a history. Everything has a history to it. In early electricity was dangerous. Electricity burned down buildings. The insurance companies, it's UL, which is underwriters, which was actually put together by insurance companies to make sure that safe products were being put into the marketplace. And so all of the line it's the high voltage items that are above 30 volts definitely require a UL listing in order to be included in a project. There are several other testing labs as well. So we oftentimes use the Canadian CSA. Has a testing program. They're very good to work with, and they can their testing and certification crosses into the USA. So we list everything as for both Canada and the USA in our product area. There's also ETL is another testing lab. So there are several testing labs you can use for your line voltage products. The second barrier to trade that has to be kept in mind, all of our residential installations are 120 volts AC, which means if you have dimmers, they draw twice the current. So if you have a 500 watt dimmer, it turns into a 300 watt dimmer because we're at 120 volts, thus drawing more amperage. And that has an engineering fix to it. In the commercial line, we do not use 230 volt. We go to 277 volt. And the happy people in Canada use 347 volts, thanks to George Westinghouse and Thomas Edison fighting with each other. So they have a different voltage as well, which is even higher. If you're going to be in commercial, you need to be able to control 277 volts, mainly for switching. We don't do dimming at 277. We do switching at 277. But those products are available in the KNX life, in the KNX world, from other manufacturers such as Siemens, and they're available and to go with the quality switches and front ends and product areas that come from any of those other suppliers. So
right. So then we see actually like, okay, good. These were actually quite some barriers that we had to like, let's say, overcome with in the past. I think that you actually successfully did it. We also see now more and more members actually going that way for the UL certification. And therefore there's like a higher portfolio of devices now available in the US. And I think this is like one of the secrets or like one of the ways in order for us to conquer the market. Speaking of the market, actually, I'd like to keep the focus again like on the US market to really understand actually. So like we've learned about the UL certification. We've heard that you just like were given the task of making KNX bigger in the market, which you successfully did. But what was the market actually like? Do we see like the smart home solutions used mainly in the residential market? Is it mainly like a commercial thing? What or like how is the market actually ruled by like a certain like single player, or what is actually the situation? What makes your market special? I think that's the question in short.
Well, it's special because it's very big, which is wonderful but challenging. There's a lot of competition, and if you have a big market, you have a lot of competition, and so there is a lot of competition on what I would call high-end residential. The mid-sized residential tends not to do automation. They've got a timed automation thermostat. They got switches on the wall, and that's fine. They don't tend to automate it. a lot of things are coming from the do-it-yourself stores. So if we go to our Home Depot or other DIY stores, we can get Wi-Fi switches and dimmers and things. So that market has changed radically. It's not a small to mid-sized residential. It's really large, high-end residential that we're doing, and we're doing good work. And we have a dealer in Los Angeles, works out of Beverly Hills, and does big projects there. He's done very well. He's been there for 6 years, 7 years now. And then the Young has an office in Las Vegas that's doing commercial and high-end residential in that marketplace. So we're trying to pick on the markets as we can. It is a challenge with the competition. Wireless has become very popular from a couple of manufacturers, and we don't really have a good KNX wireless product line yet to work with. And we're certainly looking for that as an opportunity if we can find the right products that will fit in our market and make them available at a competitive price as well. It's very price. When you get to residential, it's very price sensitive.
All right, but so maybe to summarize what you just said was so the American market is a highly competitive market actually, and reacts to any kind of change. However, you just mentioned that various companies, various KNX members, are still setting up their offices in the US. So that means there is still a big potential and actually a great market where you can harvest your fruits from. So there's still a lot of potential. And I see also from what you've actually explained, it goes step by step, as you said, but the market still has a great potential for KNX in the States, right?
Yes, there is great potential. What's not in the market and not and where the sweet spot or opportunity is really integrating the heating and air conditioning, the other items that are a mid to high residential may have in terms of swimming pools. When you get out west, I live in the north, we don't have as many swimming pools, but in California everybody has a swimming pool. So how do you integrate the swimming pool, garage door openers, security cameras, security lighting, and get into there's some tremendous growth in high-rise condominiums, and I think that's a good opportunity where the building wants to start managing the solar control, your shade controls, and make the whole overall building more efficient. And so that's some of the opportunities we've seen, and where the developers are looking for solutions in that end of it. So there's business out there to be had. It's a matter of servicing it. It's a person-to-person business. It's a matter of selling it. KNX isn't the hang-up. It's really getting the marketing and getting the dealer, distributor, integrators to embrace it and take it out. A lot of them, I mean, if they're business today, they have a solution. So we're coming in as a secondary solution to a successful dealer integrator.
So therefore, everybody who would like to live the American dream, we've just heard that there's still a great potential for everybody to go over there and actually make a good living. I actually heard also from some system integrators. As I understood, there are two system integrators in the same city, and of course, they are competitors, but for them, they said that the market is big enough actually for both of them to work highly successful. And I think their order books are just completely full for the moment. So I think that you can also confirm this, and for everybody else who would like to go over to the US, do it. However, I would also like to come to another question when it comes to KNX in the US, and I think who is better to ask than the president of KNX US. What are your expectations actually of KNX, respectively? What are your wishes? If you could choose something for KNX to happen right now in the States, what would it be?
I think the market gaps, it's looking at how we can fill market gaps, such as the wireless, the integrated solution especially for the high-end residential, and I think the growth here is the potential's virtually unlimited. We have a small part of the market, and capturing larger quantities of the market is really a matter of going out and selling it.
Where do you see KNX in 5 years? What do you think? So like, where do you see KNX in 5 years? What would you expect? Now with the experience that you've seen, like we're growing there, we try to fill the gaps. Do you think like in 5 years, the situation will be completely different, or where do you see KNX in 5 years?
I think with the advancements being made by KNX Association, such as the upcoming ETS6 and some other innovative approaches to products, I see it should be able to grow about 10 times to what it is today in the next 5 years. I see that as a reasonable expectation in the marketplace with a good effort. I mean, it's not going to do it on its own. It doesn't sell itself, as you say. It's got to be sold. It's got to be serviced. It's got to be supported, and it takes relationships and some enthusiasm.
Of course, beautifully said, I would say. Now that we're here at the end of our interview, is there anything that you would like to address to the general public who's going to watch that video? Some words of encouragement.
Well, we welcome all comers. We embrace the KNX Association's foundation in developing an independent and open protocol, non-proprietary protocol, the ability to have these products out there and to be able to, quite frankly, tap the world market for the items that aren't here and the items that we don't have. And that's we embrace that completely, and we would do everything we can to support anyone who wants to come and investigate, explore, and invest in the USA market.
All right, thank you very much, David. That was very encouraging, actually. So everybody, go to the US. That was the end of our interview. Thank you very much, David, for sharing your views and for really sharing actually some insights of the market. For everybody else who would like to learn more about KNX and KNX in the US, go to our website, knx.org, or also the KNX National Group website of KNX US on knx.us. For more information, please do not forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit the like button, and leave your questions in the comment center, in the comment box. We will, of course, do our very best to answer every question. Thank you very much, David. Thank you all to the viewers, and see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.